What's up, YouTubians? Gary, VW Jawbreaker. Welcome to a hot, muggy day here in Florida. Go figure, right? I live in Florida. We expect no less half the time. I was just hoping for a little bit more spring and not a bazillion degrees. Oh, there's a breeze. Never mind. We're good. Okay. Today we're back on the 1960 Volkswagen Beetle, the Volksrod Baja Franken Beetle build, and today we are tackling the wiring. Well, okay, it's not really today, but this video we're going to tackle the wiring. Probably going to take me at least a few days, but that's okay. So as you see, it's a Volksrod with the front end pushed forward, 10 inches, Baja. We got some 3950 15s on it, and it's a 1960 build. Last video, might have been last video, we modified the tank and put a breather in, put a fuel sending unit in, and we've got our gauges and stuff installed. We've got a couple switches, ignition switch, and I just went ahead and installed my USB port in the side of the, you can't even hardly see it, side of the glove box. So what's going on today? Well, here's what we did. I don't want, well, yeah, hold on, let me restart that. I don't want fuses and all this stuff up here. I want a nice slim wiring harness coming up, feeding the few things that are up here, and that's it. Everything else is going back here behind the seat. So what I did is I took a piece of cardboard and I traced out everything and figured, okay, needs to be about like that or so, roughly. I put the back seat bar across, put a level across to make sure it wasn't sitting up too high. And that way it still gives me a little bit of storage underneath the back seat. So I went and then transferred this to a piece of sign. Use some riv nuts as you saw. Love riv nuts. Use some riv nuts as you saw, and that's what gives me my switch panel, my fuse block, and some relays. All of this will be mounted underneath that back seat. Nice and simple, nice and clean. This right here, this VoSwitch, is the heart and brains behind my entire build. Let me show you. So basically, we have this 8 switch panel right here, right? So you've got those 8 switches. These 8 switches can be programmed however you want. They run different colors. You could have a, on off. You could have this one momentary. You can have this one flash for like a blinker. We're not going to do that. But the nice thing is that hooks up to that via this one thin cable. It goes front to back. That's it. Now this right here is what makes things really nice. You've got your switches, or your 8 switches up front, and there's your 1 through 8 right there. Each one has a 40 amp fuse, which is just a standard 4-pin 40 amp relay, sorry. And then each switch has a 30 amp circuit. Can't run that many amps through it. This is actually only rated for, I believe, 100 amps. It has an inline fuse right here at the end, which we'll go ahead and make this a lot smaller, a lot shorter. So basically, so say like, I don't know, my park lights, I don't need more than probably 5 amps. So I could pull that 30 amp out, put a 5 amp fuse in there, run the appropriate wire, and we'd be good. But not everything is going to be running off of this. We're going to have a few things that need a regular fuse block, and so I went ahead and picked this one up. That's the same one that I put in the Baja. We've got some 90-degree terminals coming, so the wires will just come off real nice, down, loop around. We'll make this look really nice. When it goes time to go ahead and set this up, I will make sure that I take you guys along for that. But yeah, this VoSwitch, I'll put a link down below. Really awesome. He actually sent this to me a long while back, but they've got all kinds of different mounts. You can mount it however you want. That little switch panel comes with zip ties, instructions, even comes with all kinds of different legends that you can put on your little switch panel. So you can literally set this up however you want. And all of that is 3M. So it's going to stick, it's going to stay. First thing first, I think we need to go ahead and I want to go ahead and get this mounted underneath. Once we get that mounted, then we can go ahead and kind of see how our wiring is going to be, and we'll go over that. So let's dive in. Wow, that's a long intro. So the biggest thing you can do for yourself anytime you go to tackle a project is come up with a plan, right? You want to have an idea of what you're going to do. So that's what I did. I came up with a plan that's very simple. I wrote down right here all of my switch panel inputs, right? And figured out what all I wanted to control. And then I said, okay, I need a color wire to correspond with everything I need to run, including my oil cooler fan, my dome light, you know, my alternator light, oil light. How about a negative? Let's go ahead and run a dedicated negative. I need an oil temperature sender to go from the engine all the way up to the front, right? So then we also have, we lost our page. Oh, there we go. Then we also have our blinkers, our horn, our oil light. I already said that. Headlights, park lights, wipers, you know, fog lights, ignition coil, fuel pump, because we're running an electric fuel pump on this. So the best thing you can do is come up with a plan and figure out what wires you need. And then you go shopping. So I've got all the corresponding wire in here that I need. I've got plenty of loom to loom everything because I love running wires inside this. It helps keep them from chafing. I've got some LED accent lights from Aaron, so we'll be putting those somewhere. We've got pretty much everything here. We got crimper, we got relays, we've got, oh, I love these. I love these Deutsch connectors. I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these because it's weatherproof right back here, so I can unplug the entire harness, boop, right from the back and be done. So again, a little bit of planning goes a long way, and you'll be able to figure out exactly what you need, what you don't need, and get some kind of game plan together. So first, I need to lay out all this wire. And then from there, I need to loom it. And then from there, I have an idea how to get the wires from the back to the front. You know, a lot of the older cars, they came up right through here through the pillar, right? We're not gonna do that. The older cars, like Jawbreaker, being a 73, they run right here along the chassis and then pop up and go on up. We have an empty heater channel and we're not running heater boxes. We could run the wires right through the heater channel, boop, pop up right there, come across, and done. I think that's the plan. I have an idea how to get the wires from down there all the way up. We're gonna fish it. We're gonna go fishing. So just hang tight. I got a bunch of wiring to start looming together. All right, harness is put together. All the wires are just kind of that way because, well, we went fishing, like I said. Got a fish tape. It goes, I was able to push it straight down, and then, boop, pops out right there. So in theory, there should be enough room to pull the wires up and through. So I guess we're gonna find out here in a second together, aren't we? All right, first thing, we need to tape the end of this to the fish tape and then cross our fingers. Watch your shoulder. Oh, it's hot. All right, so we got most everything wired in. That's how we're looking so far. So basically, we've got this one's going to the blinker relay in the back. This one's gonna go to the windshield wipers. These are controlling the LEDs. But everything else is hooked up except for when I turn on my park lights to have the gauges illuminate. Everything else is hooked up. Still running the wire over for the USB, but other than that, we're pretty much squared away. We've got all of our ignition switch hooked up, verified. Got our idiot lights hooked up, verified. And then all of these are going to be for your blinkers, headlights, turn signals, I guess that's blinkers, fog lights, all that jazz. So that's pretty much just there for that. So next, we got to start tackling inside to get inside squared away. Oh, it may look like a mess to you, but I know where every single wire goes. Alright, well, I didn't record all of it because, well, you know, this makes sense to me in my mind, not maybe to you. So just let me bring you up to speed real quick. We've got most everything all hooked up, except for, I've got this going over there, and we've got these for those switches. That's going to be for the windshield wiper. So all in all, most everything's hooked up. Nice clean. These, not sure how they're going to loop yet, but I have those separated off for right now. And then this is back here. So we've got our fuse block and relays. We've got our switch panel set there. Everything's looped pretty nice. These wires are all need to go out to the back. And then of course just got a couple others left right here. We still have our blinkers to sort out. Still need to shorten those main power wires, but for the most part, we're getting there. So I think next we need to go ahead and start figuring out our blinkers, get that stuff sorted out.
Yeah, well, it's the next day, you know, it got hot. I needed a shower. Figured screw it.
I did a little bit of wire cleanup early this morning when everybody was still sleeping in the house. That's why I didn't record. But for the most part, we got all that straightened out. This bundle of wires is what I need to loom, get through this hole and back up through the back. So we'll get to that, but for the most part, everything's nice. It's labeled-ish. So you got, I know what relay does what, I know what does what over here, and this, of course, I'll throw some labels on it just to make sure. Or I might put like a little cheat sheet inside or something like that, just that way I know what relay is wired for what. Because, I mean, honestly, we can go ahead and put the stickers on the panel up there, just that way we know what's what. But it'd kind of be nice to know back here too, like, you know, in case maybe a label falls off and you're trying to troubleshoot wires. The only thing I don't have wired in over here is my fan relay because, well, the fan's not in yet because I don't have the oil cooler in yet. All of that's still in Jawbreaker. So, all right. Next, I said we were going to go ahead and do the flasher relay and also go ahead and get the blinkers hooked up, or at least wired. So I do have a blinker relay right here. It actually has an adjustable pod on top to control the load because this is for LEDs. So this is really simple. You need a ground, you need positive off your fuse block, right there, blink, and then your third wire is your load, which that wire then comes off and goes up through into your switch. So basically you've got 3 wires then on your blinker switch here. You've got your input, which comes back from back here, and then the other 2 wires, well, there you go. Left blinker, right blinker. So the easiest way to figure out what's what is we're gonna go ahead and use a ohm meter. And believe it or not, I had a company reach out. Let's see here, workbench is a mess because, you know, I'm working. But Tesmem reached out. They sent me this little smart digital multimeter. It's the TM-510. It's actually a really nice little multimeter. Comes in a bag. So this is nice, small, compact, and would be great for your kit, you know, to throw in the car. You open it up, you've got your meter. It actually comes with 2 AAA simple batteries, AAA Duracells for that matter. Leads are decent. They're not super long. They're not really short either, which is nice. We'll take the little protective cap off the end. Can't do that two-handed, one-handed. Gotta do it two-handed. And this thing's automatic. So you just hit the power button. Oh, I gotta peel that. That is so rewarding when you peel that new plastic. Yeah. There you go. It's ready. It's ready for pretty much any mode you can throw at it. So right there, just by touching them, automatically goes straight into continuity mode. You know what? I got a battery sitting right here. Let's test out the positive and negative on the battery. So we'll go get that clip off. Negative, positive. Automatically into DC mode and shows 12.76. Believe it or not, I checked it with my fluke meter and it's right on. So all we need to do is we're going to use this. It even has a little protective case on it, and it's green. It's green. So we'll take this and we're going to find out, how could we do this? I have an idea. I don't know if it's a great idea, but I have an idea. Hang tight for a minute. Alright, so we got the battery, we got some thin little wires to connect things. Let's even see how we're doing so far. We're not trying to turn anything on that has a massive load or anything, but should turn the key on and, ooh, look at that. That powers up. Gauges power up. Everything powers up. Nice. Alright, so with that done, with everything kind of in the on position here, how can I do this? Alright, I know I could use my power probe and make things easier, but I just have a little jumper wire coming over to the negative side that goes straight to the meter. And then now we'll be able to actually test and see which one's left blinker or which one's right blinker. So because everything's wired up, I hear it going because I have a load on it. So that one's left. If I touch the other one, nothing. Alright, so there we go. It's blinking, but it's just cycling faster than what it can read. Alright, so the bottom one here is left. Let's try this one for right. There we go, that's the right. And you can actually hear relay clicking. Like I said, we could adjust that, but we're only just testing. You know, there's no resistance really using this meter. So there we go. We know which one's right and which one's left. So if you can remember, the white stripe is left, green stripe is right, right? Yep. Okay. Easy enough. Cool. Now we can go ahead and get to wiring all that in. Alright, it's really difficult to get you guys in here to see this, but again, this harness right here is the main harness that comes from the back that we already installed. So here are the two colors we're going to use for our blinkers, left and right, that goes to the back. All right, so we have our main wire coming up from the relay, goes into one of these Volkswagen splitters, which is right here, where you've got, it's like one of those T-splitters. So we're utilizing those. So the wire from the relay comes in, goes to the splitter, goes to your indicator on your speedometer. The other one goes to the actual column itself. And then coming out, you've got your left and right. So now it's just a matter of tying in the two that go to the back, and then the two that go to the front. So that's where, again, these come in handy, because we can have our main coming out and then branch off and hit the rest, and we're done. That wasn't too bad. We got everything pretty much squared away. We've got our sender coming down, all that looped up. We've got our ties and all that stuff back here. Again, USB relays for those little switches later. Not too worried about that stuff yet. All the wires are there. It's just a matter of hooking them up. But I went ahead, as you saw, and drilled a little grommet right there. That way the wires go through, and of course everything's just kind of looped up right there for right now, until we get ready to start mounting everything and getting the front end wired. So I think for now, let's go ahead and throw the little stickers on the little pod right there, so we actually know what button does what, since, you know, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and install stickers. So we've got the stickers. We just need to go back to our main legend when we wired the car to know what does what. There we go. So number one is ignition. All right, well, I must keep going over that. So here's the fuel. We'll go ahead and put fuel on next. Now these can be swapped out once you install them. 3 is horn, so we need ignition, we need horn, ignition. I went over it like 19 times. So the 8th spot, since we don't have anything wired up yet, we could put like this little blank on there, but instead, let's be a little funny, put turn something on. All right, that's it. So now, let's go to our instructions, a way to program the color. All right, so in the instructions, it actually tells you that you can select how each function works for each individual switch. So actually we'll hit and press this, the power button, for 3 seconds, and then I could like select this ignition switch, and it's always on or off. However, we can make it flash through 4 different sections, which would be your on-off, your momentary. Actually will flash for you, so we could have used 2 of these for left and right blinkers, but I needed something here to kind of fill the column, so that's what we did. So we're going to go ahead and go through though and set the backlight color, and that has the difference of red, green, blue, white. So we'll turn ignition on, that automatically goes to blue. 1, 2, 3, there we go. So that one now should be momentary. beep, 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 beep. So we could, like I said, we could use all of this. We could push to start. You could do blinkers, you could do strobe, you can do everything through this. Awesome little setup. Now I have this wired so I don't have to actually use the power button every single time I turn the ignition on. That's a setting that you can use back in the, there's like little dip switches back there. Man, how am I missing the color? Oh, duh. Oh, there we go. Oh, green. Yes. Oh, because I turned it off. There we go. Now we got green. Yeah, the light's really blinding you. There. I think you can see. I like it. All right, well, that works. We've got the front done. We've got fuse panel relay box all situated. So when you turn the ignition on, lights up green. These are all regular on off. That's momentary. So all of that squared away. Next, we need to go ahead and move to getting all these wires bundled and out the back. And I think the majority of everything's going to be done that we can do. Then it's just a matter of, you know, mounting the headlights, wiring in the headlights, mounting the fog lights, wiring the fog lights, because all the wires are there. So yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and get the back situated. Ooh, it's hot, but we finished it. This is awesome. So recap real quick. Sender's hooked up for the fuel. We've got everything hooked up. I went ahead and hooked up the two switches in the middle and also hooked up the USB on the other side. So that's done, loomed, nice. Fuse protected, everything's fuse protected. We've got the wires going down right here through a grommet, and that will feed our running lights, turn signals, brake lights, fog lights, the whole 9 yards. We come back, we've got our dash complete. All of that's done, all the lights work, turn signals work. We've got all of our relays, thanks to our VoSwitch for actually controlling most everything on this car. And then we've got everything harnessed over. All of our main power wires tied in right there. Everything's double grounded. Yeah, well, of course we got a little grommet there. Wires running through. And out here to the back. So I'm not worried about these not being too long. There's actually extra slack back there, which I purposely leave. But I'm actually going to have a connector right here to be able to do a quick disconnect harness. Make things a lot easier. But that'll be down the road. Let's see. Oh yes, the little switches down here. So keys off, but those will trigger relays for exterior lighting. There we go. That's all lit up. USB's lit up. All that's lit up. And then let's see here. Turn my lights on. You really can't see, but I turn my clearance lights on, and those all light up. So I think that's at a great stopping point, because then from there it's just a matter of hooking up wires to the appropriate fixtures. So thanks so much guys for hanging out. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. Again, this is not really a how-to, more of a how I did, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. find the best way that suits you and do it that way. Do what makes most sense to you. Just have a plan, follow the plan, think it through, and you'll get it, I promise. So, till the next time, guys, take care, be kind, and be good.